Welcome to Rational Disbelief. I'm Kat.
And I'm Joe. Today, we're going to be doing something a little different. This is not the video we plan to release. In fact, we had another video pretty much all ready to go, but sometimes things come up that we just need to talk about. In this case, it's Donald Trump's latest venture.
That's right. Earlier this week, we saw that Trump is now endorsing the $60 God Bless the USA Bible and promoting it on his social media. But what makes this Bible different? And why is that such a big deal?
Good question. The God Bless the USA Bible is a large print King James Bible with Jesus' words in red text. But the big difference is that it includes a handwritten chorus to God Bless the USA by Lee Greenwood, the singer songwriter of this song. The Pledge of Allegiance, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. Contrary to what has been reported, this Bible is actually not new. It has been around for a few years and is sold by Lee Greenwood. It was actually first sold to commemorate the 20th anniversary of 9/11 back in 2021. Let's take a look at the actual origins of this Bible.
If you ask Lee Greenwood, he says that he and his wife had some people over for dinner and that they noticed their family Bible on the coffee table, which has a history of their family tree in it. They were curious about it, and Lee explained that it goes back almost to the beginning of America, and a light went off at that point. He then went to his team and his pastor and asked their opinion on the idea, and his pastor said he didn't see anything wrong with it. Lee also decided to add written lyrics for the chorus of God Bless the USA, since his song is part of the video that all new US citizens see, so now it's an American anthem.
But if you ask Hugh Kirkpatrick, president of Elise Source Pro, which is the marketing company that originally partnered with Lee, he says that the idea started in the fall of 2020 when he and his friends heard homeschool parents complain that public schools were not teaching American history anymore and not having students read or understand the Constitution and Bill of Rights. So he and some Nashville based Christians working in the music industry decided to ask Greenwood if he'd be interested in putting a Bible together that featured his song and some founding documents, and Greenwood agreed.
Joe, you went to public school. Did you learn about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights in school? Because I can tell you that in my homeschooling, we did cover it, but not like super in depth or anything.
Yeah, in high school, we were required to cover US history in 11th grade, and in 12th grade, we spent a semester diving into the American government. The other semester was spent on microeconomics. In US history, we extensively covered the American Revolution and the Declaration of Independence, along with early US history. In my American government class, we covered the Constitution, went over the checks and balances amongst the separate branches of government, and the Bill of Rights, and the other amendments. Apparently, I'm not alone in this either. According to data compiled by EdWeek, it looks like 40 states currently require high school students to take a US history course, while 36 mandate civic and government classes.
So it sounds like, at least in your public school experience and in most states, US history, civics, and the US government are included in the curriculum. If any of you went to a public school in the US, let us know in the comments if you went over history of the US and the founding documents in your school. Kirkpatrick also said, "We noticed the divide in the public where some people started seeing pro American images, like the flag, the bald eagle, and the Statue of Liberty, as weaponized tools of the Republican Party. And we didn't understand that."
Yeah, I have no idea where they may have gotten that idea from.
Kirkpatrick continued, "In past civilizations, libraries have been burned, documents torn down. We started seeing statues coming down, and we started seeing history, for good or for bad, trying to be erased. That's when we started thinking, okay, how far does this erasing of history go? Love it or hate it, it's history. But how far does it go? Part of having these statues is so that we don't repeat these same mistakes. In this case, the statues he's talking about are the statues of Confederates or those tied to racial injustice, which were more created to glorify rather than as a warning of past mistakes.
Also, who are the ones that were trying to erase history? We've seen a stark rise in book bans within the past couple of years, despite 70% of parents polled opposing this very thing. 30% of the books banned in late 2022 were specifically about race, racism, or featured characters of color. Additionally, in Florida, part of the curriculum that was approved literally revised slavery and morphed it into the notion that slaves developed skills which, in some instances, could be applied for their personal benefit. But sure, go on about how, whether we love it or hate it, it's history.
Speaking of history, now that we have the history of how this Bible supposedly came to be, you might be wondering why they decided to make it King James Version. I mean, the New International Version, or NIV, is the most popular version in the US in the last several years, and it's been the world's best selling modern English translation of the Bible, and the one that I used in church, and I think most churches use nowadays. So why not make it NIV? If we look at the website, it says that they use the Trusted King James Version translation, but this is actually not the reason that this Bible is KJV.
The NIV translation is actually licensed in North America to HarperCollins Christian Publishing Inc., a parent company of Zondervan. As a result, Zondervan holds the rights to publish NIV Bibles. They sell their licenses to clients in North America who want to print custom NIV Bibles, but obtaining said license requires layers of approval, including approving description of additional content that will be added to the biblical text, as well as knowing the target audience and size. Fast forward to this project, Greenwood and Kirkpatrick tried to get approval from HarperCollins and Zondervan. According to Kirkpatrick, Zondervan was actually the one that suggested the NIV text and sent him samples along with pricing quotes, and claimed that Zondervan had granted the required license for this custom Bible. So why isn't it NIV?
When Kirkpatrick and Greenwood announced on their website in February 2021 that it would be an NIV Bible, there was quite a bit of backlash, and a petition for Zondervan to drop the project was started by John Moorhead, director of Multi Faith Matters, which is an organization for Christians and churches who are seeking to fulfill the Great Commission in a multi faith world by practicing an approach that builds trust by facing religious or ideological differences in a respectful manner. On the petition page, Moorhead says the following: "This is a toxic mix that will exacerbate the challenges to American evangelicalism, adding fuel to the Christian nationalism and anti Muslim sentiments found in many segments of the evangelical church." The petition gained over 900 signatures, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it was enough to gain notice. On May 25th, 2021, Zondervan released a statement that said that they never finalized a formal agreement with Elite Source Pro. Quote, "Zondervan is not publishing, manufacturing, or selling the God Bless the USA Bible. While we were asked for a manufacturing quote, ultimately the project was not a fit for either party, and the website and marketing of the NIV project were premature."
Also on May 25th, several authors that have previously released titles with Zondervan published a letter titled, "Why We're Glad Our Publisher Isn't Backing the God Bless the USA Bible." In this letter, the authors talk about watching the rioters attack the Capitol on January 6th, 2021, and how they couldn't unsee the Jesus signs and Christian flags next to Trump signs and Confederate flags, and how the rioters prayed in the name of Jesus in the Senate chamber and publicly thanked God for helping rioters take over the Capitol. After this attack, they and over 5,000 other pastors, faith leaders, authors, and bishops signed on to a movement to denounce what happened on January 6th. It was during this time that they heard about the planned God Bless the USA Bible. This immediately concerned them, as Jan 6th was still fresh in their minds, and they were aware of how dangerous nationalism can be when it's coupled with faith. As a result, they also noted in their letter, American nationalism is its own civil religion, where America, rather than Jesus, is the center of attention. Instead of Jesus and the church being the light of the world and the hope for humanity, America becomes the messianic force in the world. Like any religion, it has its own liturgy, saints, and holidays. These symbols are on full display in this new Bible: the eagle, the flag, the red, white, and blue. America's civil religion has its own creeds, too, in this new Bible. We hold these truths to be self evident. It has its own worship songs, like God Bless the USA and I'm Proud to Be an American, both by Lee Greenwood. It has its own theology, Manifest Destiny, the Doctrine of Discovery, and American Exceptionalism. And this is precisely why it's dangerous to mesh patriotism with Orthodox Christian faith. After all, the Bible does not say, God bless America. It says, God so loved the world. The national anthem should not be in the church hymnal, and the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States should not be in the Bible.
Despite Zondervan dropping the project, Greenwood and Kirkpatrick were not deterred. On May 26th, one day after the Zondervan statement, they changed their website to remove NIV from the description. By May 29th, the description read what it reads now, that it is the trusted King James Version. The reason they went with King James Version is because it's in the public domain, meaning it does not require any sort of permission to use. Plus, as an added benefit, they can keep more of the profits. With the switch to KJV, the project continued to release this Bible as a special commemoration of the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
This project wasn't without its struggles, though. Despite all of these criticisms, Greenwood dismissed their objections, saying that's all part of the cancel culture when you are promoting the Word of God.
They also dealt with supply chain issues that caused major delays and back orders. Looking at a copy of the webpage that was archived in February of 2022, there is an important notice posted that reads, "Please note that the God Bless the USA Bible is on extreme backorder due to very limited paper and cover material. If you order, your place in line and your price will be guaranteed." This notice seems reasonable enough, but it continues with, "Several woke companies have refused to help us, but we will not be deterred. Always remember that united we stand and divided we fall. God bless the USA."
We can't help but think that among other companies, this is partly in regards to HarperCollins and Zondervan refusing the project. The ironic thing is that HarperCollins is owned by News Corp, which is founded by Rupert Murdoch. If that name isn't familiar to you, Rupert Murdoch and News Corp own several major conservative media outlets such as Fox News, The Sun, The Daily Telegraph, and The New York Post. Definitely not what we would think of as woke. Fast forward to current times, specifically March 26th of this year. Trump posted on his social media site, Truth Social, "Happy Holy Week. Let's make America pray again. As we lead into Good Friday and Easter, I encourage you to get a copy of the God Bless the USA Bible, along with a video announcement that he was partnering with Lee Greenwood to promote this Bible. Let's watch a part of this announcement. The link to the full video can be found in the description below."
I'm proud to be partnering with my very good friend Lee Greenwood. Who doesn't love his song, God Bless the USA, in connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible. This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents, yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard, to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this God Bless the USA Bible, and it's just very important and very important to me. I want to have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul. Many of you have never read them and don't know the liberties and rights you have as Americans and how you are being threatened to lose those rights. It's happening all the time. It's a very sad thing that's going on in our country, but we're going to get it turned around. Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country, and I truly believe that we need to bring them back, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's why our country is going haywire. We've lost religion in our country. All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many. It's my favorite book. It's a lot of people's favorite book. This Bible is a reminder that the biggest thing we have to bring back America and to make America great again is our religion. Religion is so important. It's so missing, but it's going to come back, and it's going to come back strong, just like our country is going to come back strong. In the end, we do not answer to bureaucrats in Washington. We answer to God in heaven. Christians are under siege. We must protect content that is pro God. We love God, and we have to protect anything that is pro God. We must defend God in the public square and not allow the media or the left wing groups to silence, censor, or discriminate against us. We have to bring Christianity back into our lives and back into what will be again a great nation. Our founding fathers did a tremendous thing when they built America on Judeo Christian values. Now that foundation is under attack, perhaps as never before.
What he says in this announcement video is quite concerning. Although it's not illegal for a former president or current presidential candidate to promote a certain religion, the wording Trump uses does raise some red flags. Listen to these sentences he uses. This is very important. You have to have it for your heart and for your soul. Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country, and I truly believe that we have to bring them back and bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's why our country is going haywire. We've lost religion in this country. All Americans need a Bible in their home. The biggest thing we have to bring back to America to make America great again is our religion. Religion is so important, and it's missing, but it's going to come back strong. Christians are under siege. We must protect content that is pro God. We love God, and we have to protect anything that is pro God. We must defend God in the public square and not allow the media or the left wing groups to silence, censor, or discriminate against us. He seems to be talking about making America predominantly Christian, or possibly even creating a theocracy if he's reelected. There are even two think tanks led by former Trump administration officials that both aim to incorporate Christian nationalism into Trump's next term.
The first of the two think tanks is Project 2025, organized by the Heritage Foundation with the support of over 100 conservative groups. It aims to, quote, rescue the country from the grip of the radical left by having both a governing agenda and the right people in place ready to carry this agenda out on day one of the next conservative administration. Because with the right conservative policy recommendations and properly vetted and trained personnel to implement them, we will take back our country. They plan to do this by firing as many as 50,000 federal workers to flood the zone with conservatives. We know Trump already listens to the Heritage Foundation because during his last term, his administration embraced nearly two-thirds of their policy recommendations from their Mandate for Leadership series of publications.
The second think tank is the Center for Renewing America, which is led by Russell Vaux, who served as Trump's director of the Office of Management and Budget during his first term, and who is frequently cited as a potential chief of staff in a second Trump White House. The mission statement for them is to renew a consensus of America as a nation under God, with unique interests worthy of defending that flow from its people, institutions, and history, where individuals' enjoyment of freedom is predicated on just laws and healthy communities. And they ask people to join the movement to stop the woke and weaponized federal bureaucracy.
Whether you're religious or not, this should be very concerning as it goes against the very foundations of this country. Despite popular belief, America is not a Christian nation. In fact, the First Amendment contains the Establishment Clause, which states Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. What that means is that the First Amendment prohibits the government from creating an official religion or favoring one religion over another, because America was founded on the freedom of religion. Although we are not religious, we will always fight for your right to practice whatever religion you'd like, as that is a part of the foundation of America. As a result, this means that we cannot allow our politicians or a president to incorporate a specific religion into our nation or create a theocracy.
What's worse about all of this is that Trump is not only pushing that everyone should buy this specific Bible, but the day before this announcement was posted, he shared a post that was sent to him that compares him to Jesus. He says he received this message that morning. Quote, "It's ironic that Christ walked through his greatest persecution the very week that they are trying to steal your property from you. But have you seen this verse?" The post then goes over Psalms 109, verses 3 through 8, which reads, "They have also surrounded me with words of hatred and fought against me without a cause. In return for my love, they are my accusers, but I give myself to prayer. Thus they have rewarded me, evil for good, and hatred for my love. Set a wicked man over him, and let an accuser stand at his right hand. When he is judged, let him be found guilty, and let his prayer become sin. Let his days be few, and let another take his office." The post concludes, "I'm praying this over you daily. So many praying for you. Thank you again for taking the arrows intended for us." As a side note, if you read the verses after these, it gets pretty revengeful and implies violence.
So much for turning the other cheek. This is pretty bad. But it's not even the first time Trump has been compared to Jesus recently. Just last year, after Trump was arrested in New York, Marjorie Taylor Greene compared him to both Nelson Mandela and Jesus because he was arrested and persecuted by radical, corrupt governments.
I mean, think about this. President Trump is joining some of the most incredible people in history being arrested today. Nelson Mandela was arrested, served time in prison. Jesus was arrested and murdered by the Roman government. There have been many people throughout history that have been arrested and persecuted by radical, corrupt governments. And it's beginning today in New York City. And I just can't believe it's happening, but I'll always support him. He's done nothing wrong. He's done everything right.
Additionally, while it didn't directly compare him to Jesus, there was also the strange "God gave us Trump" video that was made by a third party, which Trump shared on his social media in January of this year.
Trump has definitely made a point of trying to appeal to evangelical Christian voters. Recently, his narrative of being arrested and persecuted, especially in the courts, appears to resonate with his many Christian supporters. But why is that? Well, growing up in church, I was told all about how Christians were being persecuted in today's society and how we needed to stand up for Jesus. We watched documentaries like The Mission about American missionary John Chow and his attempt to convert the North Sentinelese, and we heard stories about the girl who said she believed in Jesus at the Columbine shooting and was shot after standing up for her faith, which, after looking into this, was not true. We listened to songs like Jesus Freak by DC Talk. I even had the book version with stories of those martyred for Jesus. It was really ingrained in us that Christians were under attack and that we needed to be ready to be martyrs if needed. We were also taught that Satan attacks most when you're doing the right thing. So basically, being persecuted is a sign that what you're doing is right, and it reminds you that God is on your side. And any criticism you face is you being persecuted. This is exactly what Trump is tapping into. Are Christians actually being persecuted? Overall, I mean, yes. In other places, they absolutely are, but not here in the US, where Christianity is still the most popular and common religion in the country by a long shot.
When the sky comes falling, even
Stop it! Stop! Stop the whining and the sniveling right now! There are Christians in this world who are oppressed. Yes. There are Christians in North Korea who can't go to worship without risking being thrown into a gulag. There are Christians in Palestine who can't even get to their churches because of Israeli checkpoints and walls. You are not oppressed as a Christian in this country. Quit your sniveling whining. That Savior you claim to serve said, take up your cross and follow him, and you're whining and crying because what? Because nobody's letting you treat gay people like shit anymore? What the hell is wrong with you? Quit whining! Stop it!
Okay, we'll stop. With All of that context out of the way, let's finally take a look at the website for the God Bless the USA Bible. We've already covered the contents of the Bible, so let's take a look at some of the most frequently asked questions surrounding this Bible. Starting with, is this Bible officially endorsed by President Trump?
No, but this is the only Bible endorsed by former President Trump.
Is this Bible officially endorsed by Lee Greenwood?
Yes, this is the only Bible endorsed by Lee Greenwood.
I sure hope so, since, he kind of helped make it. What translations are available?
The God Bless the USA Bible is produced in the trusted King James translation. Please note, we do not offer additional translations at this time.
It's also safe to say that they probably don't plan on offering any other versions anytime soon either, since they would likely have to pay for licensing fees and jump through other hurdles they already tried with the NIV translation. What is your return and refund policy?
We want our customers to be 100% satisfied with their Bible purchases. In the event the product is damaged during delivery, we will gladly replace your Bible with a new one. All sales from GodBlessTheUSABible.com are final.
So they want you to be 100% satisfied unless you want to return it. Then it's all bets off. They also note that personalized Bibles are non refundable. They're only selling one Bible here, and it claims to have a handwritten chorus to Greenwood's song. So refunds were never really going to be an option. And going back in time, it looks like that was never an option either before. What if my Bible has sticky pages? That doesn't mean what you think it means, I swear. The golden gilding on the Bible causes the pages to stick together. They also give you a 6-minute long YouTube guide on how to break in your Bible. I hope you're patient because the process looks like it could take a while. Maybe you can throw on God Bless the USA on repeat while you do this, for the full effect. Is any of the money from this Bible going to the Donald J. Trump campaign for president? Now we're getting to the good questions. And really, the only question everyone actually has. The official answer is
No. GodBlessTheUSABible.com is not political and has nothing to do with any political campaign. GodBlessTheUSABible.com is not owned, managed, or controlled by Donald J. Trump, the Trump Organization, CIC Ventures LLC, or any of their respective principals or affiliates. GodBlessTheUSABible.com uses Donald J. Trump's name, likeness, and image under paid license from CIC Ventures LLC, which license may be terminated or revoked according to its terms.
However, this quickly becomes problematic the more you look into it. According to an article in the New York Times, though Mr. Trump is not selling the Bible, he is getting royalties from purchases, according to a person familiar with the details of the business arrangement.
This would make sense since the FAQ mentions that Trump's name, likeness, and image are paid for under a license agreement to CIC Ventures LLC. But who exactly runs CIC Ventures LLC? You can probably already see where this is going, but according to Trump's own personal financial disclosures that were filed with the Federal Election Commission, Donald Trump is the manager, president, secretary, and treasurer of the entire company. In case you haven't pieced it together yet, CIC stands for Commander in Chief, a position that Trump thinks he still holds.
Additionally, who owns CIC Ventures? Within these same disclosures, we find that the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust owns 100% of the company. According to Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust was understood to be the trust that governed all of my father's assets, especially while he was president. On January 20th, 2021, Donald Trump reappointed himself as the trustee of the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust and removed Trump Jr., while leaving Alan Weisselberg, former CFO of the Trump Org, as a business trustee. All of this information appears to corroborate the New York Times article.
We should note that this trust might sound familiar because it's also been in the news recently. The trust, along with the Trump Organization, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Alan Weisselberg, and Jeffrey McConney, among others, were found liable for committing fraud within the state of New York in February and they were ordered to pay a staggering $363.8 million due to the fraud. A New York appeals court lowered the bond amount, and Trump and co. were ordered to pay to pause the enforcement of the judgment to just $175 million. The lowering of the bond happened the day before Trump announced his endorsement of this Bible.
This goes to show that Trump is likely still in desperate need of cash, despite being a self professed billionaire, especially as his legal and presidential campaign bills are quickly adding up. This also explains why he has other business ventures under the CIC Ventures umbrella over the past several years. The day after the New York civil fraud decision, Trump attended SneakerCon in Philadelphia to announce the launch of the Never Surrender high tops, which garnered a plethora of boos and mild cheering from the crowd. These high tops cost $399 and only 1,000 pairs were offered. Additionally, there are two other sets of knit sneakers, each similar to the other, just offered in different colorways. There is a white and gold accented POTUS 45 knit sneaker and a red T-Red Wave knit sneaker, each selling for $199. On the same website as these new shoes are perfume and cologne sets called Victory 47, each selling for $99. All of these are sold by 45 Footwear LLC, which uses Trump's name, image, and likeness under a license agreement with CIC Ventures. On top of these, Trump also has offered some NFT collections called the Trump Digital Trading Cards for $99 a piece. So far, they've offered 3 different series, with the latest series being dubbed the Mugshot Edition. If you purchased 47 digital trading cards in this series, you were eligible for dinner with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, his residence for most of the year, in which he runs as a country club, and a piece of the suit Trump wore when he surrendered himself in Fulton County and had his mugshot taken in connection to the ongoing election interference case there. The NFT project is run by NFT INT LLC, who, you've guessed it, licensed Trump's name, image, and likeness. This time, it's to CIC Digital LLC, which is also owned and run by Trump, according to his very same financial disclosures.
I wish I could say these were the only business ventures that Trump has been a part of, but there is a long laundry list of previous ventures, the overwhelming majority of which have failed, including Trump Steaks, Trump Vodka, the Donald J. Trump signature collection of dress shirts and neckwear, Trump Shuttle,
An airline that operates shuttle flights to a handful of cities.
Trump Home Mattress Collection, Trump University, Trump The Game, GoTrump.com,
A travel website.
Trump Mortgage, Trump Magazine, Trump Winery,
Which is still open last we checked,
Trump Ice,
aka water.
the Tour de Trump,
A cycling event to rival the Tour de France.
Trump Vitamins and Urine Kits,
The urine kits were used to offer you a customized vitamin recommendation, which they also sold you.
the Trump Network,
An MLM that sold the aforementioned vitamins and urine kits, among other health products,
the New Jersey Generals,
which Trump ultimately caused the league they were a part of, the USFL, to go under by pushing it to compete in primetime with the NFL in the mid to late 1980s.
Trump Modeling, and several casinos and resort properties.
Wait, I thought the casinos always won.
You would think that such an extensive list of failed companies would deter someone like Lee Greenwood from partnering with Trump. However, Greenwood has his own list of business ventures he's pushing. These include
The God Bless the USA 40th Anniversary coin, a limited edition silver coin to commemorate Greenwood's song. Lee Greenwood's signature series of spirits in conjunction with Soldier Valley Spirits. He offers a bourbon whiskey, an American whiskey, rum, and vodka. To help showcase these lovely spirits, he's also partnered with Bourbon Barrel Furniture of the Bluegrass to offer an extensive array of liquor cabinets, end tables, shelves, and more. Lastly, nothing quite says you're proud to be an American like shooting off fireworks on the 4th of July. For this, you can use Lee Greenwood's Proud to be an American fireworks set from Black Cat. This set comes with a total of 3 fireworks boxes, 1 red, 1 white, and 1 blue. You'd think each fireworks box would come with 13 shots, one for each of the original colonies, but you'd be wrong. It actually comes with 14 shots each, for a total of 42 firework shots.
Coming back to this Greenwood business venture, there have been a lot of reactions to the Trump endorsement of this Bible. But before we look at them, we do want to point out the reviews from the original God Bless the USA Bible from the leegreenwood.com store Google reviews, since there's not a review section on the actual selling page itself. As you can see, there are 15 reviews, with 79% of them being 1 star, and almost all of them are from before Trump endorsed the Bible. Most say that they ordered their Bibles months previously and never got any updates and can't get a hold of anyone. One talked about poor quality, and one mentioned that his dad was not satisfied with it, so they tried to return it under the satisfaction guarantee that was posted online. After completing the online form and never hearing back, they tried calling, but the number has restrictions and doesn't allow calls to complete. After which, they found an email, which no one responded to. Overall, based on the reviews, it seems like there's no communication about orders and no support if anything goes wrong.
Yikes. As for the reactions on social media and in the news, here are a few that stood out to us, most of which are by pastors and reverends, Christian news outlets, and conservatives. First, let's take a look at several Christian news sites, which all have articles calling out Trump for this newest venture. The Baptist News Global posted an article titled, Trump the Blasphemer. During Holy Week, Trump compares himself to Jesus and hawks a white Christian nationalist Bible.
Church leaders posted an article titled, Trump celebrates Holy Week by comparing himself to Jesus, promoting Bible bound with America's founding documents.
World News Group has an article titled, Leave the Bible Alone. The God Bless the USA Bible should have never been made.
Baptist Standard posted an article simply called Trump Endorses God Bless the USA Bible, but it includes a quote from Ruth Braunstein, Associate Professor of Sociology at the University of Connecticut and Director of the Meanings of Democracy Lab, who said, the God Bless the USA Bible appeals to the God and country religion, but it can be used to promote more radical forms of Christian nationalism. The idea that America belongs to Christians and that Christians have the right to run the country. It's one thing to say or sing along to, God bless the USA, and quite another to say, as Trump did in his announcement video, that all Americans need a Bible in their home. This is not just promoting religion in general, which would perhaps draw criticism but still be considered within the pale. He is using his position as the former president to endorse a specific form of religiosity to sell a Christian Bible.
Moving on to other reactions, Bishop William Barber, the founding director of the Center for Public Theology and Public Policy at Yale Divinity School and a co chair of the Poor People's Campaign, said on social media that the prophet Ezekiel named it in his day. Greedy politicians make an unholy alliance with false religion that says God is on their side when God has said no such thing.
Former Representative Liz Cheney, a Republican from Wyoming, said on the platform formerly known as Twitter, Happy Holy Week, Donald. Instead of selling Bibles, you should probably buy one and read it, including Exodus 20:14.
Tara Setmayer, the former GOP communications director on Capitol Hill and current senior advisor for the Lincoln Project, said on the platform formerly known as Twitter, There's nothing holy about selling Bibles endorsed by Trump. More blasphemous grift. Beware, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Matthew 24, verse 24.
Reverend Nathan Emsel, executive director of Faithful America, told Newsweek via email, Trump selling copies of the Bible during Holy Week like it's just one more overpriced Trump shoe or steak has really touched a nerve among voters. We've heard from many upset Faithful America members since his video appeared. Seeing the indicted would-be dictator sell so-called patriotic Bibles does provide a parallel to Holy Week, but it's not with Jesus. Trump is doing his best impression of the corrupt money changers who profited by ripping off worshipers. Today, much like Jesus overturning the money changers' tables, Christians are sick of seeing MAGA's false prophets twist our loving faith for agenda of hatred and selfishness. The Bible is bigger than any politician, and if Trump really wants to talk about scripture, I suggest he try to actually read it first. He might actually learn a few things about love, humility, money, and peace.
Former White House Director of Strategic Communications and Defense Department Press Secretary during the Trump administration, Alyssa Farah Griffin, said this on The View. He's selling these for $60, and I'm a Christian. And as soon as I hear that price tag, I think of the persecuted Christians around the world who risked their lives to have one page of the Bible, to be able to read scripture in places like China, Saudi Arabia, Syria, where you can't practice your faith openly, and he's using it to profit off of. That tells you all you need to know about this man.
And last, but certainly not least, the American civil rights and social justice activist, Baptist minister, and founder and president of the National Action Network, Reverend Al Sharpton, said that Trump selling $60 Bibles is a spit in the face of people that really believe. He continues, blasphemy certainly comes to mind. I think that people ought to realize how offensive this is to those of us that really believe in the Bible. He's doing this during Holy Week. Tomorrow is Good Friday. Sunday's Easter. Of all the times you want to hustle using the Bible, why would you do it during Holy Week? Which is really a spit in the face of those people who really believe in the Bible from a Christian point of view. He also said, I wonder how many ministers or conservative evangelicals will go to their pulpit tomorrow or on Sunday, Easter, using the Trump Bible. They ought to be defrocked if they would even try and act like this. This is nothing but a hustle. And for those in the evangelical community not to come out and say, wait a minute, during Holy Week, that's one step too far. Makes us wonder where they're committed.
When asked for comment about this backlash, Trump spokesperson Stephen Chung told Newsweek, these are never Trump idiots suffering from a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. Ah, yes. Let's immediately lump everyone into the same group and proceed to attack them with name calling and an ad hominem attack. An ad hominem attack is when you attack your opponent's character or personal traits in an attempt to undermine their argument.
This response is also guilty of the in group bias, which is when you unfairly favor those who belong to your group. By doing this, it paints those who oppose anything Trump does or stands for as the enemy. And as such, they should immediately be dismissed instead of listening to what they actually have to say. This ties back into the Christian persecution narrative as well, something that Trump and his campaign have used to prey upon evangelical voters.
So, what you're saying is make America pray again. All joking aside, this entire saga is a reminder that we need to continue engaging in open and honest discussions. We felt the need to highlight this story because by enabling this Christian nationalistic rhetoric, we erode the very foundation and principles that our founding fathers stood upon when starting this American experiment. Sure, it may seem like an innocuous thing, and Trump is just trying to make a little extra money, but it serves as a clarion call to the Christian nationalists across the US. This is the 2024 version of the infamous quote about the Proud Boys during the 2020 campaign, when he told them to stand back and stand by. We already saw what happened later on January 6th, and we need to be constantly reminded that we cannot allow that to happen again.
In the video that we originally planned to post this week, which will be posted next, we talk more about the importance of open and honest discussions and having empathy for others rather than disdain and vitriol. Now more than ever, with a presidential candidate who constantly attacks and insults others and uses ad hominem attacks, we need to stop normalizing this sort of behavior and instead work on coming together to change how we treat those we disagree with, which should be with empathy and respect.
So, what you're saying is someone needs to open their God Bless the USA Bible and read Matthew 7, verse 1 through 3.
Thanks so much for watching. As we are a newer channel, we'd love it if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel to help us grow. Also, you can find us on Instagram and on TikTok at Rational Disbelief.
You can also let us know what you thought of this video in the comments section below. While you're there, feel free to leave suggestions for future topics we can explore in our journey of rational disbelief.
Listen to these sentences he uses.
Happy Holy Week. Let's make America pray again. As we lead into Good Friday and Easter, I encourage you to get a copy of the God Bless the USA Bible.
Oh, God.
Okay, I'll stop.